History is usually written by the victors, but in the modern era, it seems history is written by whoever has the audacity to print the certificate first. For decades, the most powerful men on Earth have chased the ultimate symbol of global validation, the Nobel Peace Prize. It is elusive, it is prestigious, and for the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, it has been the one door that remained locked. But what happens when the world refuses to give you the crown you desire? What happens when the committee says no? Simple. You don't change your behavior, you build your own kingdom, you invent your own award, and you find someone desperate enough to hand it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed this week wasn't just an award ceremony. It was a glitch in the matrix of geopolitics. It was perhaps the most bizarre, unscripted, and revealing diplomatic stunt of the century. The president of FIFA, the governing body of soccer, standing on a stage, inventing a prize that didn't exist 24 hours ago, and handing it to a US president for accomplishments that history books do not recall. And the moment that medal appeared, that specific split second where Trump didn't wait to be honored but physically reached out and took it, that moment tells us everything we need to know about the next 4 years. Tonight, we aren't just laughing at a participation trophy, we are decoding the desperate, expensive, and dangerous illusion of power. Let's start with the optics of what actually happened, because if you blink, you might miss the absurdity of it. We are in a room filled with dignitaries. Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, takes the stage. Now, usually, FIFA hands out awards for the best striker, the best goalkeeper, or the best goal. But suddenly, they're in the business of global peace. Infantino announces the FIFA Peace Prize. If you Google this award, looking for past recipients, looking for the criteria, looking for the voting committee, you will find a blank page. Why? Because until Donald Trump walked into that room, this award did not exist. It is a ghost trophy. But the real story is in the body language. Watch the interaction closely. Infantino is holding a medal. He says, quote, "There is also a beautiful medal for you." He hasn't even finished his sentence. He hasn't even made the gesture to place it around the president's neck. And in a flash, Donald Trump's hand shoots out. He grabs the medal directly from the box, saying, "I'll take that." He doesn't wait to be honored. He acquires the honor. It was a transaction, not a ceremony. It was visceral. It was impatient. It was the move of a man who feels the clock ticking on his own legacy and decided he doesn't have time for the pageantry of others. He needed that gold in his hand. The internet, as you can imagine, is having a field day. The term participation trophy has been trending for 48 hours. People are comparing it to a child making themselves a badge out of cardboard. Even former Pentagon officials are mocking it, joking that his next award will be the Lego Peace Prize. But while the memes are funny, the reality underneath is much darker. This isn't just about a funny video clip. It is about the rewriting of reality itself. During this ceremony, a video presentation was played, a highlight reel of Trump's supposed achievements. And this is where the laughter should stop and the concern should begin. The video explicitly claimed that Donald Trump was responsible for brokering a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Now, for the average American viewer, that sounds great. Peace in the Middle East, peace in South Asia, it sounds like a win. But here is the problem. It never happened. The Indian government has categorically, officially, and loudly denied this. There was no American-brokered ceasefire. The diplomatic channels between those two nuclear-armed nations operate independently of Mar-a-Lago. So why lie? Why put a verifiable falsehood on a giant screen at an international event? This is what historians call revisionist history. Trump understands something about the American psyche and the global media cycle. If you say something loud enough, and you hold a gold trophy while you say it, 40% of the people will believe it is true. He isn't waiting for history to judge him. He is force-feeding the narrative he wants. He is trying to solidify a legacy as a peacemaker, not by making peace, but by collecting receipts for peace that he never bought. But we have to ask the other side of the question. Why FIFA?
Why is Gianni Infantino, the most powerful man in sports, bowing down to an American politician? This is where we have to follow the money, and the money trail directly leads to 2026. The next World Cup is coming to North America, United States, Mexico, and Canada. It is projected to be the most lucrative sporting event in human history, billions of dollars. FIFA needs the US government. They need tax breaks, they need relaxed visa rules for millions of fans, they need massive security guarantees that only the Department of Homeland Security can provide. This was not a gift, this was a down payment. Infantino wasn't giving a peace prize, he was kissing the ring. He was ensuring that when FIFA lands in New York and Los Angeles and Dallas in 2026, the red carpet is rolled out and the IRS looks the other way. It is a classic quid pro quo. Trump gets his ego stroked with a shiny new title to rival the Nobel, and FIFA gets the keys to the kingdom for the World Cup. It is corruption disguised as diplomacy, playing out on live television, and they are betting that we are too distracted by the shiny metal to notice the handshake deal happening in the shadows. However, there is a tragic irony here. While Trump is collecting these fabricated honors on the international stage, his standing with the American people, the people he actually works for, is collapsing. The latest Gallup data is nothing short of catastrophic. We are talking about an approval rating that has cratered to 36%. That is historic territory. That is deep underwater. Among young voters, the demographic that will inherit this country, his support has essentially evaporated. There is a massive disconnect between the global hero character Trump is playing in these curated videos and the reality of how he is viewed at home. In America, voters are worried about inflation, they're worried about healthcare, they're worried about housing. They don't care about a FIFA medal. In fact, seeing their president chase after fake awards while real problems go unsolved feels like a slap in the face. It looks like vanity. It looks like a leader who is more obsessed with his reflection in the mirror than the people standing in the unemployment line. And it's not just America. Let's look across the Atlantic. In Europe, the reaction to this Peace Prize isn't laughing, it's fear. A new poll across the European Union shows that 50% of Europeans now view Donald Trump not as an ally, but a problem. Some even say an enemy. Why? Because while he accepts awards for peace, his rhetoric suggests he might abandon NATO. He has signaled that he might let Russia do whatever the hell they want. For a European citizen sitting in Poland or Germany or France, watching Trump accept a peace prize is terrifying because they see him dismantling the actual peace architecture that has held the world together since World War II. They see a man who prefers the company of dictators and the flattery of sports executives over the hard, boring work of actual alliances. The irony is suffocating. The man holding the Peace Prize is viewed by half the Western world as the single biggest threat to global stability. This event also highlights a growing trend we need to talk about, the sports washing of politics. We saw it with Liv Paulf in Saudi Arabia, we saw it with the Qatar World Cup, and now we are seeing it with FIFA and the White House. Sports organizations are no longer just about games, they are vehicles for political legitimacy. Leaders who cannot get respect from the UN or from traditional diplomatic circles are turning to sports. They are buying the applause they cannot earn. Trump knows he will likely never get the Nobel Peace Prize. The committee in Oslo is not interested in him. So he bypassed them. He went to the organization that understands business, not ethics. He went to FIFA. It's a shortcut. It's a cheat code. It's like buying a black belt in karate instead of training for 10 years. Sure, you can wear the belt, you can tell everyone you're a master, but when the fight actually starts, the belt won't save you. And that is the danger here. When a real crisis hits, a real war, a real economic collapse, a fake peace prize won't help negotiate a solution. You cannot trade a FIFA medal for a ceasefire in Ukraine. You cannot trade a certificate for economic stability. We are entering an era of the illusion of competence. If the video is edited well enough, the music is dramatic enough, and if the trophy is gold enough, we are expected to believe the leader is great. It is governance by reality TV standards. Trump is producing the show of his presidency. He is the director, the producer, and the star. And if the plot doesn't fit the reality, like the India-Pakistan situation, he simply changes the script. But facts are stubborn things. The truth has a nasty habit of surfacing eventually. The medal grab we saw this week was funny, yes. It was meme-worthy, but it was also a warning. It showed us a leader who is desperate to be adored, a leader who is willing to fabricate achievements, and a global system that is all too willing to play along if the price is right. As we look at that image of Trump holding his self-acquired medal, we have to ask ourselves, is this what American leadership looks like now? A participation trophy purchased with political favors? We used to lead the world by example. Now it seems we are leading the world in branding exercises. The world is laughing, yes, but they are also taking notes.